Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her.
Great Wednesday day, everyone. How you doing out there? My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. It is the halfway through the month show, which means that we revisit our first show about with our great partners at One Hope Wines, and we talk about the wonderful nonprofits, small nonprofits all over the country. Just to let everyone know, if you are a small nonprofit and you would like to join us, you can go on the little QR code up here in the corner. You can scan that QR code and tell us about what you do. If you are a small business and you would like to join us, that QR code is how you do it. If you would like to support what we do here by giving away the free clothing or doing the podcast, doing the podcasting or doing any of the other stuff that we try to do, trying to make life better for others by partnering with small to medium businesses, there is a place that you can donate in there. I would greatly appreciate any donations, but you know what? My main thing is we want to make sure that you understand that when you shop with any of our partners, that means someone gets to benefit from your generosity for using our giving partners. We're also looking for new partners all the time. So if you know a business out there that gives a referral, that would like to join a program that soon will be the premier program when it comes to giving, let them know that Community Pay It Forward's out there. If you do this, we will give you a payment. Plus, we're also going to give the mission that you choose. Of course, we're going to give them a payment as well. So you want to learn more about that, just simply reach out to me at communitypayitforward.us. That is communitypayitforward.us. You reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to learn more. I want to know more about what you do. I want to know more about anything. We're here to talk. World music development is our mission for the month. Unfortunately, the two people who I need for the show are both unavailable right now. Melissa is stuck in Southern California traffic, and Saim is running a little bit behind as well. So if they come on, we will stop the recording from 2 weeks ago and we will play it live. But right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to replay the video from 2 weeks ago so you understand the wonderful thing that they're doing at World Music Development. It's a great program right here in Colorado. And we are really looking forward to not only working with them for the rest of this month, but working with them for a while to come. So please enjoy this recording from 2 weeks ago. If they do come on, we will break away from the recording and we will talk live to them as they come on. After this, we will have two of our brand new partners. We're going to have Heather DeJesus and we're going to have Alexander Bihar. Alexander and I are going to be announcing something towards the end of the show that if you are a young entrepreneur, we got something for you. So please stick with us and enjoy this interview. It's kind of funny. We've been playing this. I've been playing that song forever, ever since I first started this show. And those of you who have followed me know that that's my really, really good friend, Theron Roberson. He's a local musician here in the Northern Colorado area. And this show is all about an organization that helps individuals like Theron thrive and help other people to change the world through music. We have a very, very packed show today, folks. And the greatest thing about this is you're not going to have to hear me talk a whole lot because I don't really have a lot of time to do this today. So we are waiting for our great friend, Melissa, to be joining us. And as soon as she comes on, we will get the introduction. We'll get that going. But I'm going to get to it and I'm going to bring on our guest real quick right now because I want to learn more about him. Sam answered an ad yesterday when I was putting it out that, hey, you know what? We've got a spot. We'd like to invite people to come and tell their story. And he started telling me about World Music Development. And this, again, because I am a huge fan of musicians, local musicians, these people who work their butts off and create wonderful art, and a lot of time at the detriment of themselves. You know, I am really interested, and I am thrilled to bring you guys Mr. Saam Golgoon. How are you doing, sir?
Doing wonderful, Zach. Thank you so much for having me today. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So you and I were just talking a little bit. Music has been very, very important to you your entire life. Music meant a lot to you because when you were growing up, it was an escape.
Yes, it was.
Can you tell us a little bit about you come from a very I guess the best way to put it is you come from a very turbulent place. So can you tell us about growing up and what music meant to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was born originally in Iran in the 70s. And it was during the time at a very young age, I believe I was about 6 years old, when the revolution in Iran happened. And that country overnight almost, or over a few weeks, it went from a monarchy to a theocracy. And very shortly after, a war broke out between Iran and Iraq, which caused the experience of having, bombs dropped on my head and seeing what war actually does to people, to communities, how it affects the innocent bystanders. And as one of those innocent bystanders of the war, one of the escapes for me was through music. I was very fortunate in life in the aspect of having very amazing, strong, educated parents who helped us with our mental health. I didn't realize that's what they were doing for us, for myself and my brother when I was young, but music was a part of it. And whenever I needed to escape, it was an easy thing. I started with playing the piano and the keyboard, and my keyboard was my best friend, you know, at times that if I needed to just escape what was around me and going on, I could just play some music on that keyboard, and that was extremely helpful. Then having the great opportunity of being able to escape the country and ending up landing in the United States in the late 80s, it was again through music that I was able to find a lot of connections that to this day, these connections all exist. And some of these folks are my best friends to this day. And I shared with you earlier, Zach, that I was part of a band in the early to mid 90s in the Dallas area by the name of Grassroots Willie, that the makeup of the band sounded like a joke. We said it was 3 Jews, 2 Muslims, a Christian, and an atheist that walk into the bar. What do you got? You had Grassroots Willie. And you know, that was happening for me in my early 20s, late teens. And that's when I truly realized that cliche of the power of music. We hear that, the power of music. Well, what is the power of music I've been thinking of? And that was one that I saw, how it brings people together. The other cliche of music being a universal language. I look at music that melodies don't need to be translated. A C note sounds like a C note where I sit over here in the United States, and how it sounds if you go all the way across the world in China. So it's how the listener interprets that note, the combination of those notes, that music does become a very personal experience for many people, as I have experienced it and seen it. So that's a little bit about me and why music is so important to me and what it's done for my life.
Well, I'd like to introduce you to my great co-host and the person who makes this possible, Miss Melissa Lozado. How are you doing, sweetheart?
Hi, Zach. I'm good. Hi, Sam. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I've been busy and doing projects and all of that, but a good busy.
Chasing dogs throughout the neighborhood?
Oh, my goodness. My dog. He ran out the house the other day, and yeah, just imagine me running around trying to get him back in.
Yeah. So
Colorado problem. Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually in California, so you know the streets are a little more dangerous there. But Melissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at One Hope Wines, and just introduce yourself real quick.
Yes. So, well, I am Melissa Lozada, and I am a cause entrepreneur with One Hope Winery. So, cause entrepreneur is I give hope. I give hope, and I do that by sharing wine. One Hope is a charity-based winery. We're out in Rutherford, Napa Valley, and we have donated over 10 million so far in donations, and we support over 40,000 nonprofits locally and globally, and that's any 501c3 nonprofit. And how we do that is we donate 20% of every purchase to nonprofit organizations. So our 4 pillars of health is clean water, health, education, and world hunger. And in addition, you get to choose your own 501c3 nonprofit that you would like to support with your purchases. And you can do this through our wine club. You can do this through any purchase, or you can just simply call me and we can hook up a fundraiser virtually. We could do it online. and we could do it in person. So it's nice to hear your story, Sam, as I was coming on, because for me, wine and music is totally relatable. You bring people together. And that's what we do with our wine. We always say it's about the wine, but it's not about the wine. Our mission and our vision is not about, hey, let's go get drunk. Our vision and our mission is, hey, you want to purchase this bottle? Well, it's going to do some good for somebody. And, that's what we do. That's our goal. And we're also organic, and there's no preservatives added into our wines. And, it's just a great cause. So one hope.
And
hope.
yeah, yeah. And then that was something that I was noticing on your the event that you guys have coming up. You guys are very, very conscious when it comes to the earth. So I know that the organic thing speaks to you really well. Melissa, can you please do me a favor and tell us about this wonderful little poster that we've got here?
So I created a flyer here, and what we do with One Hope is we create event links when we want to fundraise for a nonprofit. So that way we make sure that purchase goes directly to that nonprofit. So what I did was I entered your nonprofit information into our system, and I created a fundraising link. So this link is open for about 90 days. And you can share it with your friends. You can share it with your family. If you're looking to buy wine or host an event, Mother's Day is coming. And we also have a beautiful gifting department as well. So 10% of every purchase will go to world music development through this link with One Hope Wine.
And then again, the other 10% goes to One Hope charities. The One Hope Foundation, which does work on the 4 pillars. It's such a wonderful program, and I love being able to work with One Hope Wine, and I am so glad that you and I, Melissa, have hooked up, and we're going to continue this show. Sam, what are you looking for when it comes to musicians? What are you hoping to do with musicians? How do they play a part in your world?
Well, musicians are the pillars of our organization that I say without music, we have nothing, because it is through the power of music that we're uniting people and raising funds through that power. So they're extremely important to us, and that importance was really brought to the forefront during COVID, that we saw how musicians and performing artists were affected during COVID. And at that time, we did shift our focus a little bit, because we were more focused towards community causes and giving back to causes that we consider the 5 pillars, which are education, housing, nutrition, healthcare, and economic development. And we started focusing more towards the musician and their survival at that time, really, So music and musicians are extremely important to myself and the organization. What I would want from any music, from my friends to any musician across the world, really, music is a tool, and any tool can be used the right way or the wrong way. And I want musicians to understand that and to be responsible with that tool, to be responsible with that power. That has the power to do a lot of good. The music really does. So let's continue to keep that in mind, and not ever forget it, and not just use it during times that we're facing disasters. There are definitely organizations such as Farm Aid that continually are using music to raise funds for farmers across the country. And that's a concept of World Music Development, our nonprofit, to continuously raise funds for causes and musicians around the world. No matter what's going on, we always need the help. It's not when there's a disaster only.
And I think that's such a great point right there. You know, we as a species, we hear stuff like, you know, just in the last week, there were over 100 tornadoes in 2 days that landed in the heartland of America. Okay. And there were, unfortunately, there was there was loss of life. My wife, her family was directly affected by the heavy rain in Kansas. One house and one business was forced underwater. There was a lot of loss. I mean, one life is too many. And so you know that people are going to come together and they're going to work together to do something, but it shouldn't take a tragedy. We should be able to do this on every day, because where we may not know that there's a tragedy, there are tragedies everywhere. There are tragedies, you know, there are people who need our help all the time. And I think that, you know, that's one of the things that you, Melissa, and I all have in common, is that we're trying to find ways to work to support the everyday thing that goes on, you know, where my tragedy may be not as severe as, you know, 6 deaths and tornadoes ripping up my house. You know, it's still something going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
So Melissa, did you have anything?
Yeah, well, it's Psalm, right? Psalm, am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I, you know, for a girl that grew up in New York, you know, born and raised in the projects, I just want to say music was my everything. And I totally relate to your story. And when it comes to mental health, for me, music is life as well as fitness is life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a personal trainer at day, and you know, I fundraise at night. But music has always been something that has been a part of me and my family. And I mean, I married a man in the music business, so you know, it really is, when it comes to your mental. When you just find a good song that relates to you, it can really just change your mindset. So what you put in your mind, what you put in your head, what you read daily, what you listen to is so important for the soul. So I totally love this nonprofit, and I'm really happy to learn about it. And I'm also working with a nonprofit, LULAC, and we are going to start digging into mentorship programs and getting our high school students ready for life. And we're going to be hosting and doing a lot of events for them, and one of them is music. So maybe we can connect on that, and maybe I can pick your brain.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on ahead, please.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for sharing that with me as far as what music has done for you. I always love hearing that from anybody, and I hear it a lot from a lot of different people. So thank you so much for sharing that. The other thing, I wanted to thank you for the support of One Hope for world music development. That generosity means a lot to us. And I would love to collaborate down the line and see how our organization and myself, I can give back to your mission, your cause, and what you're doing.
Awesome. Would love that. Definitely. It's all about making an impact and helping one another and supporting one another and bringing awareness, which is one of the reasons why I love this podcast, because, you know, we learn about so many different nonprofits out there, and there's people need to learn, people need to know about who you are and how, you know, how we can support one another. So yes, I totally agree and would love that.
So looking here on your website, which is worldmusicdevelopment.org, the vision statement is create peace through music. Very, very simple, very straightforward. And the mission statement: enhance and enrich communities by integrating music into various aspects of life. Please don't try this at home. I'm a trained professional. This ultimately achieved through global artist partnerships, comprehensive music programs, and unwavering support for nonprofit initiatives. It's gorgeous, man. I love it. And let's also get this out there. The two websites that we're going to be showing today were created by Sam. He created these. This is one of the other things that he does. He's not just the nonprofit guy. He also has this going on. Sam, you have this Elevation Music Festival coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, Elevation Music Festival is our largest annual fundraiser for our organization currently. The festival started in 2020. However, in 2020, World Music Development wasn't the presenter or producer. We were partners in presenting it by handling some of the logistics for the presenter at that time. With some of the things that changed in 2023, the World Music Development basically took over ownership in the presentation of the festival. So this is going to be the second year that we're presenting this. This year, this is happening August 16th and 17th in the beautiful town of Alma, Colorado. I call it the little big town in the Central Mountains in Colorado. Our claim to fame for our town is that we are the highest incorporated town in North America. We sit at 10,578 feet above sea level. So this is some high altitude music. You know, you got to be prepared for this. As we say to people, come with your snow gear even in August. You never know, you know.
Yeah.
It will be sunny and beautiful, and then later in the evening it can be dumping snow. But the format of the festival this year, we made some changes last year, the last couple of years. This was a ticketed event for general admissions. However, this year the general admissions are free. However, we are charging for camping, and we have some VIP tickets. We call it our elevated experience that provides complimentary food and beverages throughout the weekend and hanging out with the artists and meet and greets with the artists. We're going to be announcing the lineup here soon, within another week or so. We're about 80% there on our schedule and final lineup. Let's see, what else can I share with you?
You are looking you're looking for vendors, and that's where I ended up getting that information about you're looking for people who, you know, you've got very, very particular rules when it comes to vendors. They have to, you know, you need to make sure that, you know, everything is set up. They're the insurance, the disposable cookware, or not cookware, servingware, and stuff like that, which really talks about how, you know, what we were talking about with the organic. You know, this is something that it's a very green event, right?
It is. You know, once you get to experience Alma, you'll realize it. I really am fortunate to live in a very beautiful part of our country, and yeah, many of us over here have that mindset because we live right in nature and we see the beauty of it every day, and because of that, we want to make sure we're good stewards of it, so we make sure that's reflected in our events as well.
You know, that is one thing about us here in Colorado. Look, we are lucky that we are living in one of the most beautiful areas in this great nation of ours. You know, Colorado. Sorry, Melissa, I know that
it's okay. I love Colorado,
but you know, I mean, we're so lucky that we get to go outside every day and see mountains, and there's still, you know. This is so funny. It snowed 23 feet up in some of the higher elevations just the other day. And it was like, oh my God, really? It's it's, now May, but I mean,
That was our town. Yeah, this last weekend, we had 2 feet of snow in our driveway on Saturday morning, I believe I want to say. Yeah, exactly. You walk out there
yeah.
and it's almost up to your
So,
knees at the end of April. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean it's great because it'll be 100 degrees down here in the Greeley area, and you'll look up in the mountains and there'll still be snow up there. And it is one of the coolest things in the
See,
world. You get to see that.
what better reason to escape the city in August? It's really hot, and come up to the mountains and enjoy some awesome music and spend a couple
Yeah.
of days in the mountains and camp out.
Yeah,
So,
I'm almost
uh,
thinking that this would be a great place for, I don't know, beautiful One Hope Wines representative to come out and talk about her wines from California with her
yeah.
family, who's, I don't know, maybe her husband has something to do with music. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, not saying, just saying, so.
Well, I have
But
ideas are running in my head, and I'm sure you got, I love the quote that, by the way, Melissa, you had on that banner on that QR code. But there's definitely thoughts going through my head that I'm going to be sharing with both of you offline once we're done with this. So, yeah, just watch out. This is just starting out, guys. Yeah.
Awesome.
there you go. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Yep, that is true. So that has to do with what we were saying earlier. We don't know if we can change the world for everyone unless we try. We don't know if we can solve everyone's problems if we don't do it. We have to get together. We have to try. I mean, that's so very important. And I think it's just a vital thing that if, we're getting together with a group of people who, and introducing great programs like yours, whose focus is, look, there's a lot of insanity out there right now. I mean, we're witnessing it every day. And I like the way that you are taking and bringing music into this, because where my kind of music is not what people would typically think we're relaxing, it's, to me, if I'm having just an insane day and I throw in, I throw in some of my bands and I'm just going to show my insanity here. But like, if I show in a little bit of, if I throw in a little bit of Lamb of God, I become relaxed. I love that. It helps relax me. If I'm kind of in a depressed mood, I throw in Faith No More, and their goofiness just really kind of picks me up and lifts me up. And, my wife, it just drives her nuts. So she's a country girl. She listens to country, and she sits there and just shakes her head and like, how do you not want to hurt yourself?
That's so funny.
Music has a tendency to do this to everyone. Every single one of us view it the same, or view it differently. Do we not?
Yes, and it's funny because I'm thinking about my mom right now. My mom, may she rest in peace. But my mom loved music. I mean, if I touched her radio, it was on. We could not touch her music. But she slept with music every single night. It had to be on low, and she would just sleep. And I would always say to myself, how could she sleep like just listening, to music? Like, wouldn't it get annoying? But I realized, down the line, many years past, that was soothing for her. That relaxed her and put her to sleep. So, always when I was pregnant with my first daughter, we would put headphones on my stomach because we love music so much. We will always say these kids are going to sleep through music because we always playing music. They're going to sleep through the parties. They're going to sleep through it all. And this girl was born loving music. She has self-taught her own instruments. She plays guitar. She plays the ukulele. She plays the flute. She plays the piano, and she self-taught herself. We thought she would, become a star one day in music, but she took another creative route. However, just music is everything, and everyone needs to learn about world music. We need to put it out there. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, so I want to ask you one final question. Oh, no, go on ahead, please.
Well, I was going to share, that when I started paying attention to how much music is there in just my life and perhaps other people's life. And Melissa, you said that very well. Music starts for many of us uh, prior to birth, even. A lot of parents do that, to play music for the baby who's in the womb and everything. And then right after birth, what does it start with? It's the lullabies. That's the mother singing to the baby. But then even look at your life on a general basis. From when we turn on the TV, the commercials have music on them. There is music on the radio. So it's not just when it's music on its own. There's a lot of other things that we got going on, that music is the background of it. So that's something that's gotten my attention over the years, of how much music is actually constantly around us, that we may not be consciously aware of it, that there is music and it's influencing us while we're hearing it, but we're not conscious about that influence. So that's why in marketing, it's a great method of marketing, to use music in marketing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, I love the way that, music is individuality, even though, many people love it. Oh, I think it's great. We've been talking to Sam Gold. I almost messed it up. Golgon. No, I'm sorry. I did mess it up. Golgoon from
Yes.
World Music Development. And I want to just ask you to please tell people how to reach out to you.
Yeah. The best way to reach out to me through our website at worldmusicdevelopment.org, and my email address right there at the bottom of the screen, which is som@worldmusicdevelopment.org. And I believe my phone number was provided earlier as well. You're more than welcome to text. Text would be the best thing, because I do get a lot of calls, and my voicemail does fill up in half an hour, and everybody's always mad at me. Your voicemail is full. So text and email are the best methods of communication. Please get engaged with us, get involved with us. We have a lot of stuff on our website. We just recently introduced a music business program, online course, that the introduction of it is on our membership platform. We are providing opportunities. Here's another one for musicians to be able to have a side gig. Musicians are always, from my experience, a lot of times struggling financially to do their art full time. They have to, it's hard to do that and keep a full time job, family, and everything. So we've actually created an affiliate program for our artists around the world, or music enthusiasts, and we're giving 50% of the sales from our membership platform to musicians who sign up for this affiliate program. That's another way that we saw, as far as what's the way in economic development that we can give back to the music community. And that's one way that we're allowed to do it. Another way to get engaged with us is through our events, is through Elevation Music Festival, just helping us pass the word and letting your friends know about it, and joining us in August. We will soon have our volunteer sign-up list posted on the website. I believe it's on the website. I just haven't made an official announcement or sent out an email yet, and we'll do that here soon. And yeah, if you are a vendor around the state of Colorado or outside of the state, and you do come to Colorado, please check out our vendor opportunities that we have. And I wanted to thank you, Zach. Thank you, Melissa. It's so great to be here, be among like-minded people, these crazy people that they think they're the ones that can change the world, And what I was going to add to this, I've heard half of the game is showing. This is what you were saying earlier, Zach, that there's always something happening. And some people, well, why me? And how can I make a difference? Well, the difference is, I've heard that half of the game is just showing up. So if we all did that, just to show up, to give back a little and help each other out, I think the world would be a much nicer and much more beautiful place.
I absolutely agree with you. And now, Melissa, I'm going to let you take over the show real quick and do your part, and let's talk about some wines.
Alrighty, my favorite part. So, as you know, this is where we are fundraising today, and we're fundraising for world music development. And again, your purchase will support this nonprofit. I also want to talk about gifting, because gifting is important. We have Mother's Day gifts, and as you can see, we have been on Forbes and all kinds of wonderful magazines that display our beautiful bottles. Not only do we have beautiful bottles, like I said before, they're organically good. They are delicious. No sugar added, no preservatives added. And it's the perfect gifts for moms. I call it mommy juice. So if you click on the link, when you click on the link and you go into our gift shop, you're going to see all these beautiful gifts that are on sale right now for 20% off. And you get to choose any bottle you like for that gift. So check that out. And I also want to share that our trio of love language is back. It went out of stock for a while. And these beautiful little babies, these are my favorite little bottles. And I remember when they first launched them, they're just so cute. They're eco-friendly, so it's a little smaller than a regular bottle. And they taste delicious. So we have a red blend, we have a rosé, and we have a Chardonnay. These three are also a purchase with purchase. So if you purchase 6 bottles, you can add these 3 bottles for just $30 to your case. So these wines are wonderful. The red wine, wonderful, nice, and it's not too sweet, not too dry. It's wonderful. Pairs well with wonderful cheeses like Vermont white cheddar. That's my favorite with this wine. But they're delicious. So try them out. They're only $20, and for our wine club members, it's even cheaper. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and those wines there, Stephanie had sent me those last year, and
they're so good.
the rosé and the red blend, and yeah, those were really, really good. I did enjoy them. So and tell us some of the advantages of the wine club, please.
So the advantages of the wine club is you save up to 20. And what I love is that we offer free shipping to our wine club members, and not many wineries do that. So it's expensive to ship wine, but because we donate, to nonprofits, and we have donated so much around the world, we're able to do this for our wine club members, where we give you free shipping on 6+ bottles. And it's also free shipping in between. You can skip your month anytime you want. So there's a 1, 2, or 3 month increment. We have a build your own option, so you can swap out your bottles at any time. And then we have a curated option where our winery picks the wines for you. And usually a lot of people like to go for that. If you're not too familiar with wines, you get the curated option. So you get to taste many different wines and reserves. And 10%, 20% is going to nonprofits. So again, every purchase is supporting nonprofits all around the world. And at checkout, all you have to do is choose your charity. And if it's not in there, you can type it in. So we got you.
Yeah. And again, you can always visit our Facebook page. You can go to it's Community Pay It Forward One Hope Fundraiser. Go to our page. I guess I need to shut these so you can actually see it. But if you go to our page, we ask you, share your favorite bottles, share your favorite recipe. Tell us what you think about the One Hope wines. Tell people what you think, and tell them about your experience, and let's have a lot of fun. So Community Pay It Forward One Hope Fundraiser. It is in a group, so it's impossible for me to share the link. I will have it in the description of this interview once we're done and I release it to YouTube and everywhere else.
Yes, and on that note, when you do try OneHope, we have it's just wonderful. You try OneHope, and then when you review it on our website, OneHope gives you points, and those reward points are cash towards your next purchase. So that's another thing I wanted to mention real quick. OneHope, not only are you donating to nonprofits, you're receiving 5% back on all of your purchases at the same time. And when you're a wine club member, we're giving you gifts, $500 worth of gifts, and you get, I think there's there's 2 reserves that you get. You get an iconic, you get a reserve, and you also get a $200 credit. So if you ever go to Napa, you can visit OneHope, and our chefs will gladly chef it up for you. So that's another beautiful perk that we have with our.
And I know that you and the Goddess of the Grape, you guys both love doing that. You love doing all the events and everything. Once again, here is the QR code. You simply scan that code that Melissa has worked very, very hard on. You just scan that code, you make any purchase, and our wonderful guest and our wonderful highlighted nonprofit of the month, World Music Development, gets 10% of every bottle you buy, and 10% also goes to the 4 pillars. Melissa, can you remind us of the 4 pillars, please?
Yes, it's world hunger, clean water, health, and education.
And that you'll be able to find that QR code all over Community Pay It Forward and the PAC channel pages all month long. So, Saad, thank you, sir. Sam, thank you, sir, for joining us. And I look forward to talking to you again on the 15th when we do our half-month show. Melissa, as always, I'm so glad that we got to get this back together. And I will talk to you both very, very soon. Sam, I will send you all this information when we're done. I will direct an email that connects you two as well. So, but I want to thank you both so very much. Once again, if you want to get a hold of Sam, it's Sam at worldmusicdevelopment.org. That's SAAM at worldmusicdevelopment.org. Or you can text him 970-389-8197, 970-389-8197. I'm not sure. Maybe I've already been drinking today or something, because I am just having one hell of a time talking. So
words are hard sometimes.
Yeah. This English language that, I speak, whatever. So, but again, I want to thank you guys both very, very much and wish you both a great evening. And I will talk to you both soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Melissa.
We'll see you
Keep up
soon.
the great work.
Bye. Every time I listen to that, I get excited because, music is one of those things. I listen to a lot of books. I listen to a lot of talk radio news, stuff like that. But music is one of those things that when you listen to it, there's a shift in your body that is so important. And I think that every single one of us has that go-to music that makes us feel better. Of course, as I've stated, my music really not the taste of everybody else's music. I've been a Megadeth fan since my teenage years. I like the metal. That's kind of the way I go. Faith No More is one of those that if I'm having a lazy day, It's one of the bands that just, you take, you listen, you laugh, and you're able to take and come back from it a little bit. And I think what Sam is doing and his group, what they're doing, I think it's wonderful because it's giving music the recognition really that it should get. It's giving, it's giving them the credit that it should get, because it can change lives and it can change people's perceptions, and it can really bring people together. Metal brings you together by slam dancing. I know I used to joke with people all the time. I had dentistry done by metal concerts. So I also broke a finger, thank you, Will, by slipping at one point in time. So I do want to thank Sam, and I want to thank Melissa very, very much. And we do regret that neither of them were able to get back on. I told Melissa that we'll just start this again next month, and we'll go from there. We may have to make a change, so I'm going to be looking into that for the next couple weeks. Coming up at the beginning of next month, we've got a brand new mission partner, Dignify Dementia. And the story behind this organization, very small organization, is, I don't want to say heartbreaking, because it's really not. It's the reason behind it, yes, is a little heartbreaking. Finding out that somebody that you love that has dementia, that is terribly heartbreaking. But the truth that the father who had dementia, his first thought was, well, what can we do to help other people who go through this? And as I've mentioned, that's really kind of the way that nonprofits start. You sit there and you go through something, and your first thought quite often is, what can I do to not, to have people not have to go through this same thing? It's the reason why Community Pay It Forward is here. Well, Dignified Dementia, that's what they've done. They're trying to come up with the ways that they went through, the hardships that they went through with the diagnosis of dementia. They're trying to find a way to where other people don't have to go through the exact same thing. And they will be our guests starting next month on the One Hope Wine Fundraiser. Community Pay It Forward, One Hope Wine Fundraiser. Brand new to the family are our next two guests. The first one, a bookkeeper that does things a little bit different. Okay, a lot of the bookkeepers that we have as partners or have had it in the past, you ask them the question about taxes and they didn't want to, that wasn't their game. It's not a problem. That's great. Hey, specialize in what you do. That's not Heather. Heather said, you know what? I feel better if I take this on. And so Heather does taxes. She is a bookkeeper that does taxes with Burton's Bookkeeping. Another, as I've mentioned before, another brand new partner to the Community Pay It Forward family. So I would like to introduce to you Heather DeJesus. I for some reason I was thinking I called her Deborah, but no, it's Heather DeJesus from Burton's Bookkeeping, brand new to the family. Wonderful, wonderful story as a teacher. So many exciting things that she's done. And I really, really enjoyed this interview, and I hope you will as well. Hey, everybody. Every business, and this is one of the reasons why I love working with small business. every business is different. It's also one reason why we never have an exclusivity exclusivity in our program, because everyone has their own specialty. One of the greatest things about my guest today is she does things a little bit different than the other bookkeepers we have. I'd like to introduce you to Heather De Jesus. How are you doing?
I'm good, Zach. How are you?
You started Burton's Bookkeeping. Tell me a little bit about it. What was the reasoning behind starting your own bookkeeping company?
I've always been, I've always helped people with finances and things. And I was a teacher and I saw so many like small businesses suffering because they didn't have good bookkeepers, or they had bookkeepers that were just, they didn't care as much about their small business because they were small. And I love working with small businesses and watching them grow. And so that's why I started Burton's Bookkeeping and Taxes.
You mentioned the teaching. There was an aspect of wanting to help out teachers as well when you started this, because as a teacher nowadays, they're not getting the backing that we need to get for them. They have to provide their own supplies and stuff like that, which to me is still, and you and I talked about this when we first met. My son is a teacher over in Japan, and it is completely night and day. It is so much different over there. But you saw with your experience as a teacher, you were like, well, I also want to make a difference for other educators.
Yeah, because as an educator, my husband used to, I drove him crazy because I kept buying things, you know what I mean, for my students because I wanted them to have it. And now with, my own business, I can give to them, you know what I mean? And so they're not spending things out of it. So it's nice to be able to like go on a field trip with the kids or something, or do extracurriculars and help the teachers that I used to work with and other teachers as well. So it's always nice to do that.
Let's go off script a little bit right here. What if you were able to talk to people in the community and say, hey, you know what, if you can do this for a local teacher, it would really help them out, what would that be?
Providing supplies for their students. Just ask them. It's like I was a math teacher and I was begging for pencils. You know what I mean? I can't, literally I had like them on shipment from Amazon coming so that I always had them. Just like ask them like simple things that you think that we don't have them. Pencils, paper, like we have kids that don't have book bags, coats. Things that, and here in North Carolina, it gets cold, and the kids don't have coats. And so it's simple things. Just call your local school. They will be so grateful. So grateful that you, even a little bit, even if it's $20 worth of stuff, $10, it'll be very well received.
So in other words, folks, there's a great idea. Okay, this school year is coming to an end for most areas. I know that there are some schools that go all year long, but school is coming to an end. So let's take in, and throughout the country, let's start getting together and collecting school supplies and dropping them off to a local school, maybe a school that your kids used to go to or something like that, just to try to help them out. And of course, for anybody in Colorado, if you do have a school without coats, or you have a kid that needs some clothing or something, make sure you reach out to us here at Community Pay It Forward, because Community Dare to Care, we do have tons of clothing and shoes and stuff like that. But let's get back to introducing Burton's Bookkeeping. One of the things that you do that are different from other bookkeepers are you do taxes. So you are a true all-encompassing, I don't want to say all in one, but you're an all-encompassing bookkeeping program.
Yeah, and I got very lucky when I opened my bookkeeping business. I had always done individual taxes, but I had, well, I call her my partner in crime because she's in Missouri, but she's taught me so much about corporate taxes and S corps and things. So like I could actually take my bookkeeping clients and do their taxes for them, which isn't an extra cost for them. So that always helps. Because every penny counts when you're running a business. That's
Oh yeah, yeah, very much.
Plus, I know their books. So, I mean, I know what deductions they can take and I know what things, and plus those clients I don't do taxes for, I can help them to make sure that their books are ready for taxes, like, because I know what their their tax preparer is looking for.
What are some of the things that, and I don't want to say drive you crazy, but I'm going to say drive you crazy about businesses that they need to be paying closer attention to because it can save them money? What are some of those things that businesses can really do to help you,
Mhm.
but more importantly, help themselves?
Well, one thing I look at for them to help themselves is to their credit card processors and things like that. There are so many of them, they don't ask for ACH or, you know what I mean? And that can save them so much, like in fees and things that they don't think about. Also, like some of the deductions, like they're like, oh yeah, I bought this subscription, yeah, I use it for business, but they don't think that it's, for business. It is. They have vehicles out there that they're running and they have a AAA in case one of their salesmen's, breaks down on the road. And they're like, oh, that's personal. No, it's not. It's not. So just knowing, and that's why I always like to give them a list, like of what the deductions for their thing that they can take. And then for me, just trying to make sure that every week or so, you know what I mean? Like I'm sending them and just responding to the ones that we don't know, because in a month, you're not going to know. They're not going to know. I mean, Zach, come on, think about it. I don't know what I bought at Walmart a month ago.
I don't know
So,
what I bought this last weekend, and
right.
we're
So,
recording this on a Tuesday, and I
right.
can't
So
remember everything that
that's
I
what I'm saying.
bought on this weekend. So yeah.
So help your bookkeeper by, keeping up when they, weekly and saying, hey, I bought this. I have one client that's so awesome with that. She'll email me, hey, I bought this. Only this amount was business associated, but I got the receipt. You know what I mean? So that helps out so much.
Heather, one of the things that we've done before, and I hate saying this because it's a little bit grandizing, but that's not the purpose of this. You
Mhm.
cannot write off every meal as a business meal, but we once in a while will take, and like I'll walk into McDonald's and I'll see somebody who's, outside, and we'll purchase a meal for them. Can we write those off?
Depending on how you do it and how much it is, you can take it off as charity. And then when you itemize your taxes, you can take that off as charity. So
Okay.
mm,
What do you have to do anything special to make that stand out? Do you have to have them like sign a receipt or something like that? Because usually it's just like, I'll buy a number
yeah.
two with
Right. But when you give them cash, it
coffee.
isn't, you know what I mean? Like like
Right.
giving them cash is gonna be more, but like when you're buying a meal, if you're claiming it as, like, and mostly most businesses that aren't S corps that are that are just sole proprietors, they're doing their individual taxes with their business. So that could be, you know what I mean, part of their itemized deductions as charitable. Just keep the receipts. And some things people forget about is the miles.
Yeah.
If they go and like help, like I have a tax client that goes and helps at the YMCA. She volunteers and she volunteers there once a week. Those miles count too as tax deductions that people don't think of.
What about networking miles?
Yeah, whenever you go to networking, you get to take those off. Keep
So,
track.
yeah.
I get
Uh,
to take it off all the way to Colorado, right? Isn't that where you are? Colorado? No,
Yep,
I'm
yep,
kidding.
yep. So, yeah, there you go. You know what? Yeah, you come in and you talk to us. That's going to be one hell of a deduction with gas prices right
But
now.
definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
it's not the gas prices of a couple of years ago, but thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many deductions. And what are some of the things that people think that they can deduct, they try to deduct, and you're like, no.
Mills are a big one. People think that every time they do a mill, some people think that if they give their kids money, like when they're in college, they can take those because it's like part of the business. But you can't do all that either. And then a lot of people do, like if they buy their clothing, they think because but clothing's only if you have like a uniform, like a specific uniform, like a nurse or, like I have a car salesman that I do taxes for. He has to wear certain shirts and hoodies and things like that. So
What about like a business suit, a suit and tie? Can that no? Okay.
not
Yeah.
unless you are like a statutory employee and you work for someone else and they tell you you have to wear this suit, this color. But if they say dress attire, no. I know.
Okay. Well, there goes what I was going to do this weekend. No, I
Well, you
I
don't
need
wanna
a
get
new suit
audited.
jacket badly. So, but yeah. And how long have you been doing this, Heather? I know that once again we talked about you left teaching to do this, but when did you start
Well,
this bookkeeping?
I started Britain's Bookkeeping in February of 2023. But I have done bookkeeping and taxes for years. It just was my side hustle. It wasn't my main thing. And I'm so happy that I finally, took the plunge and did that. So yeah, so I've since full time since February of 2023.
What is it about numbers and numbers with you? You said that you were a math teacher. What is it about numbers that excites you?
They make sense. And well, just like math, and algebra, it's like finding out what the problem, what it is. So one thing with bookkeeping that I love is finding out why the numbers don't match and what's missing and what's not. So same one with taxes. How can we get that bottom line down as low as possible and still stay within the law?
Yeah, it, I think it's really funny that a lot of bookkeepers they just don't want anything to do with taxes.
Yeah.
And um and why why are you stepping out different from them and saying, you know what, we'll do the taxes? Is it easier for you to keep the books when you're doing everything?
Well, it is. It is, but it also helps me to, like, for example, whenever I get a new client, I always get their tax return, whether I'm going to do their taxes or not. So I get to kind of look at what they took off last year and kind of see where they are. And I can say, hey, you're not where you were last year. Did you forget to put something? Did you put on a personal card? Did you? But what I like to me, it's kind of like going to a baseball game and staying for 4 innings and not seeing who wins. You know what I mean? So where I get to do all their bookkeeping for the year. We do their taxes, and then we get to see, how well we did at estimating taxes, how we do. Plus, it helps me prepare them for, how they're going to pay their estimated taxes for the next year. So it kind of helps me to, I don't know, it's like finishing the process.
That is so funny that you bring up that sports analogy. If there's one thing that bugs the hell out of me at a game is when you go with somebody and they want to leave with like 5 minutes left. Well, let's get out of here. Let's get out of
And
the
then a
parking
winning
lot.
touchdown or winning
Yeah,
something.
yeah, and I'm a hockey fan. 5 minutes, that can be 6 goals,
It
and
can. Mhm.
so it's like, no, no,
Yeah.
we leave now. Look at all the other people hitting the doors.
I
Okay,
don't care. We'll
we're just
wait.
going into
We'll just
more
wait.
chaos, so we'll just walk slower. It's
No,
fine.
you're right. And I
So,
don't know about you, but I grew up in Ohio, so we always had hockey.
yeah,
And we always were like, well, I guess once we were of age, it's like, well, I guess we'll have one more beer before, before
yeah,
we just wait on everybody to go, like, and we'll
yeah,
just sit there and wait. But yeah,
yeah.
you don't leave because you never know what happens.
Yeah, we grew up in Kansas, so we only had water when the ice blew into town, and that was about it. So there wasn't a lot of water there, but not until you got to eastern Kansas, and then you had a little bit. But you where are you at now?
I'm near Charlotte, North Carolina, in a town called Hickory. So
Okay, but you can do this anywhere, right?
most of my clients, I only have like 3 local clients. Everybody else is everywhere from New York to California.
Are the is the bookkeeping different in every state, or is it predominantly the same?
It's predominantly the same. It's the taxes that change. You know what I mean? But the bookkeeping is the same.
What about state taxes? You know that you've got states like Texas and Florida that do
I
not,
love
you
those
know.
states. Because they don't have any state tax now. Yeah, you do have different. That is different because the percentages are different. But for taxes as well as like, so when I prepare their taxes and figure out their estimated, I do have like a little cheat sheet. It kind of like you put it in and it tells you what state, and then you can tell what the things are. But yeah, every state has a different percentage, different laws. All the nonprofits are different, depending on what paperwork you have to fill out for the state. So.
One of the things that people do not know, a lot of people are unaware of, is everybody has heard the code 501c3, but there are different codes for nonprofits, right?
There are, yeah, and there's a lot of different tax forms too. I mean, a 990 has like 4 different tax forms depending on how you do it, whether they're taxed interest, whether they're not, whether they're a trust, whether, I mean, it just depends. An HOA and condos have a different form. So they're all different. There's so many different forms.
What about, and I don't know how this affects small businesses, but what about places that have employees like share drivers, where the employee themselves is basically it's up to them to file their own taxes. Do they,
1099s,
I'm
like the
sorry.
1099 like the 1099 employees.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Um, do they are they basically filing as like a small business owner themselves? Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
they're the sole proprietor, and they do a Schedule C, basically, so that they can take off, like, for example, Uber drivers.
Hmm.
They take off so they can take off their gas and their mileage and things like that, whatever, their Uber shirts, because they have to wear certain shirts sometimes, and, so yeah, they basically operate like a small business, they just don't have an EIN number.
Okay, do they have to file quarterly or is it at the end of the year?
Not usually, and it varies. You're supposed to have over a certain amount, but the thing with them, they don't get penalized. Like, for example, if I don't do my estimated taxes, I mean, it's not a large penalty, but it's like a small penalty because you didn't pay your quarterly taxes. With them, it's more of they get it at the end of the year, so they don't really know. You know what I mean? They don't have it. It's not like they're getting quarterly, like with your business and my business. We know what we spent this quarter. They don't. You know what I mean? They can estimate, I guess,
Yeah.
but they
Is there something that they should be doing to make sure that everything is above board? Do you have any do you have any secret weapons for them that they can make sure that they are uh protecting themselves against overtaxation?
Well, and I have several clients that are like that. Like I have a lady, for example, she works for her son. She does 1099 work for him, like a virtual assistant, but she doesn't have a business. You know what I mean? It's not a business. And she calls me like every quarter and she says, "Hey, this is how much I've earned. How much should I pay?" And so those can do, and plus I always try to give those people, especially if I've done their taxes the year before or I'm going to do them. Because I do have some people who already called me, "You're doing my taxes next year. You know that, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." Which I think is great. You know what I mean? That means they heard about me this year and apparently I did a good job somewhere. But I always try to give them a list, like, and I have them specific for each one. You know what I mean? Like virtual assistants, Uber drivers, salesmen, the insurance salesmen that are like statutory employees. So there's lots of things that they can take off. And I usually have a list of that, for each one.
Uh are there any businesses that you try to stay away from because the taxation is a little more time consuming or
S corps tend to be like S corps with, like, for example, they're very interesting because there's a lot, like, for example, I did a construction company and they had several trucks and then you have to do all the depreciation. Those take a lot of time. I don't mind doing those, but I always feel that they really need someone in their state to do those, only because they need to know exactly what the depreciation is. You know what I mean? Like when they bought the vehicles and things, and someone like a CPA or an EA in their state could do that a lot quicker because they could actually go to the vehicle, find the, do all that. So the ones that have a lot of equipment, I usually try to stay away from. I mean, not because I can't do them, but it's easier to do those things on hand, or the ones that have a lot of inventory, what I mean, and
and
it's not counted.
yeah, and it probably is better for them to be having someone closer
Mhm.
to them.
Like
Uh,
I have a bookkeeper friend who has a liquor store and she's right down the street and she does bookkeeping for them. Okay, I couldn't do that because you have to literally go and scan every month their inventory. You know what I mean? So that's not, that would be very hard. So I try to stay away from companies like that just because it's easier for someone there to do it. But there's so many that are not, there's so many good CPAs and EAs and tax preparers in those states that they could do. I just feel that they do a better job.
if anybody's got any questions, how can they get a hold of you? That way they can find out if you are the best choice for them.
Well, I have a website, which is burtonsbookkeeping.com. And then I'm pretty sure they can see it, right? My phone number, my email
Yep.
address. So feel free to, you know, call, text, or email, or look at my website and book an appointment. And I also, and this is something that a lot of people don't say. If you just have a question, I'm not going to charge you for that. So please just call and ask me. You know what I mean? If I can answer it for you, that'd be great. You know what I mean? So some people are like, oh, I'm just starting out. I can't afford anybody. At least ask. You know what I mean? And I have no problem with people calling and asking that. So.
And that's one of the reasons why I think that you are such a great, brand new member of the Community Pay It Forward family, because you are willing to help people. And that's, of course, what we're looking for here in the family. We want to make sure that, we're trying to protect business owners, and we're trying to help out business owners. And our program is really good for newer businesses. The other aspect, of course, is that you came from the teaching, the teaching background, and you understand the trials and tribulations that they have to go through. That is definitely one of the things that we respect and love about you and your heart for teaching. What are some of the other like causes that really touch your heart?
Well, I work with, I wasn't able to give it up. I work with exchange students through a program called ASSE, and they pay us a little bit, but it's really not about the pay. It's just I love meeting. Like we had a exchange student last year from Australia. That was so much fun. He was the same age as my son, so great. And then I have right now this a little girl from Japan, and believe me, when you talk about the teaching being different, she is, I mean, she's just like the first month she was here, she was like, I can't believe this place. you know. But like that's kind of a passion that I love hanging out with those kids and doing those things with them. Just seeing their, seeing this country from a new, perspective, or a different perspective, and then learning about theirs as well.
That might be something that I want to talk to you about. I got an email the other day about exchange students, and uh, if I could afford to pull that off. I mean, if we just got the help with the food and everything, I would love to do that. My wife and I have the aspiration to take in foster children, but right now with us taking care of mom and dad and their poor health, bringing a child in that needs that much care and need, that's a little difficult. So, and we've had a couple of them that have been very problematic, and that's a little.
Well, that's one thing that's nice about this. These kids they don't come over unless they're really good kids. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They're literally here to experience the culture and try to figure out the difference. And um, I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, my son still like he's gonna graduate next year, and we had Seth last year, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to go to Australia. You know what I mean? I want to go to Australia and see Seth. You know what I mean? So they build bonds. And I mean, so many of host parents, they end up taking trips over there and seeing their kids. And I mean, it's a great experience. So if you can ever do that, you know what I mean, you'd enjoy it, believe me.
That's actually really kind of funny because uh Free, my son in Japan, he every time he wants to take, and he's talked to parents and said, hey, you know what, if we can come up with the money when I go home, I'll take your child with me so they can experience it. And he really wants to start that, and bring the kids here to America, bring them to
Mhm.
Colorado and to Kansas, and just give them those, give them that experience of what America's like.
Right.
Of course.
Make sure you give me his number after this, because we have places all over the country. In Japan, we definitely have one, because that's where they send kids here from. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that would.
please let me know. I would love to, because they would love that. That'd be like a field trip. They'd love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, we joke about it all the time because he goes, yeah, Dad, the only problem is that they've not seen someone as big as you usually. So, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, my host parent that has the Japanese little girl, she's like this tiny little thing, and he's 6'4". And she
yeah,
was a little intimidated by him when she first saw
yeah,
him, but she's like,
yeah.
he's just
It is kind of funny because Free, along with being a teacher a kindergarten teacher there in Japan with children with special needs. He's also a professional wrestler. So every once in a while, he'll go in with like a blackened eye or something like that, and they'll just love him. And every year, he'll take and that's how he wishes me happy birthday. He'll have his entire class
Aw.
record a happy birthday,
Mhm.
message to me, and it's really special.
That's how
I
sweet at
love
that
it.
age. I have a 4-year-old and he's just like, he's so sweet. Like if I hurt myself or I mean silly stuff. Oh, are you okay? You know, they're so thoughtful and sweet at that age. So
You know, I have eh, I have a saying that I love my kids, yours not so much. But that's not really true because I love I love trying to help kids. I love the excitement of a kid, with our Cub Club that we're trying to build, Heather, and you and I really need to talk about that. We've created ironically, I've got one here because we're putting together this thing for an event. But we've got our little Cub Club coloring book that I create that, we're trying to bring back the, the, what it is it's just a ID that a kid can carry with them.
mhm.
And it's got some special things in there, because God forbid something happens to your child. We want to make sure that mom and dad are also taking and recording their children, you know,
Mhm.
grabbing that phone, utilizing the camera on the phone, because phones are no longer for telephones, they're for
No, they're
cameras.
not. They're
Yeah.
computers in hands.
Right, but, making sure that the parents are recording their kids saying, some of the words that they struggle with. It's not spaghetti, it's scapetti, or, you know, for a child, I'm sorry, it's not Fruit Loops, it's Fruit Loops. They
Yeah.
get excited about this. These are things that we need to make sure that we're recording. So again, God forbid your child comes up missing, we recognize sounds a lot more than we recognize children's pictures. And if that's something that we can put with an Amber Alert, because an Amber Alert, they say watch out for a yellow Toyota. That's the only damn car you see that day.
Right, exactly. You see a bunch of them.
So and who has time to sit there and,
Mhm.
if you're driving properly, who has time to look for a license plate? So I mean, there's so much that we can do. And yeah, the Cub Club is something that's very, very important to me. And it's just because, I'm sick and tired of seeing kids get left behind and kids get hurt. So
Mhm.
we need to support children all over the world. And that's why I love this idea of doing this. We're thinking about becoming a home for young men who come to Greeley to play hockey, you
Mhm.
know, being a family for them to stay with us for a while as well. But
Well, and
um,
those are it's great. We have my husband's Dominican, which is where the De Jesus comes from, and we have, a small little baseball team here, and there's a lot of Dominicans that come, and he's always inviting them to, like, our house or whatever, just for, like, a little taste of home. So that's always nice too. So
it is,
they'll love that.
and it's great. Look, we as adults, we hear a lot. Well, these kids today, they don't. Okay,
Not
stop.
all of them.
What
Not all
what
of
have you
them.
done to help these
Mhm.
kids? Because you didn't grow up knowing everything.
No.
You know, you may think you did. I
Well, we
wish,
thought we did. We thought we
yeah,
did.
I wish I knew half as much as I knew when I was 16 years old because I knew everything. But
Mhm.
hell, I wish I knew a quarter of what I knew when I was 16. But
Yeah.
but the thing is that if we need to mentor these kids instead of just sitting there taking and you know just giving up on them. And I think that what you're doing is wonderful. I absolutely appreciate it. And again, I think that you joining our family, I think it's a wonderful fit because there's that passion, there's that compassion, and there's that love for helping others. Uh,
To
you know,
have that in order
yeah,
to thrive in this world. That's what makes people different from others. You can get up and have a terrible day or you can make someone's day. So you decide.
that's And it doesn't take an act of Congress to do it. Thank God, it would never happen if it took an act of Congress. But we're not getting political here. Heather, is there anything else that you would like to let everybody know?
No, I think you've covered it all. So I just really appreciate the time with getting to the community and, just getting to know people.
Well, we are thrilled to have you as a sister in giving and being part of the family. You can get a hold of Heather at 980-858-3033. That's 980-858-3033. It's so nice having it above your head there. I can read it right from there. Usually
I learned that from my business coach. She said, you don't have your name or your number, because I have the B squared left over from like my algebra days, because I just couldn't not do that. And she's like, put your number on there, put your email. So I have to thank her for that. So.
It actually really is, because like I said, usually I have to sit here and I have to do this. And after my accident, my palsy in my eye, I can read with my eye open, but my eye automatically shuts. So I got to sit there and try to focus on what I write. And for some reason, I'm trying to reteach myself cursive writing, which means that it's just god awful sloppy. But you can also reach her at her email address, which is heather@burtonsbookkeeping.com. And make sure you put that S on the end. It's not Burton, it's burtonsbookkeeping.com. Visit her website at www.burtonsbookkeeping.com, or you can always go in and punch in the word Heather, bookkeeping, taxes, whatever, at communitypayitforward.us. Her name will pop up. And please, like she said, if you have any questions, ask. She's not going to charge you. There's no commitment needed. This is this is trying to help you as a business owner, you as an individual. If you have questions on how to make things easier, just call her. 980-858-3033. Ours is 970. So that there for a second, I almost had to bite my tongue there. I was like 980. So 980-858-3033. Heather, I want to thank you very much. Again, welcome to the family. And I really cannot wait. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more work with you.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be here.
All right. I met Alex a couple months ago, and it was actually kind of funny because we met him during the time when we were doing the brain injury shows, and Alex and I started a conversation, and then I mistakenly thought that he had contacted us for the brain injury thing because, Alex, you've had an injury when you were younger, yet it was just an introduction of the minds, not the brain. But that one conversation and that one mix-up has really created a very, very cool partnership. And I'm proud to announce Alex Bihar as a silver partner in the giving family with Aflac. So, Alex, welcome to the family.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Explain to people exactly what is AFLAC, because I know there's a lot of people who have misconceptions or who are thinking it's health insurance or something else. It's not that. It's a supplement.
Yeah, so we do a really good job of marketing our duck, and that's about it. So, what Aflac does is not health insurance, it's not car insurance, it's not home insurance. It is purely a medical supplemental insurance. And what that is, and the way that we actually go about implementing that, is we go to different companies and use companies as a platform to offer our plans to their employees. What our supplemental plans look like, they're accident, cancer, short-term disability, hospital indemnity, things like that. And the whole point of these plans is to provide people sort of gap protection, right? With the way that medical insurance costs are rising in the United States and the way that they're covering less and less, the out-of-pocket expenses are just shooting up. And so what Aflac does is it's able to mitigate that. It's able to cover your out-of-pocket expenses that go along with some sort of accident or injury.
Okay. And so this basically just takes care of the stuff that your medical insurance does not take care of.
So yes, it's pretty much all of those secondary costs associated with an accident. And once again, I do want to be very clear. What Aflac does is it gives you cash. It gives you cash so that you have the ability to go and pay whatever those secondary expenses might be, right? So it gives you the cash that you need. If you want to devote that to medical bills, you devote that to medical bills. If you want to devote that to the transportation required to getting you to and from the doctor's office and the hospital, and you want to devote that to, buying dinner and food and all these other things that, you're losing out on because whatever your injury has taken you out of work, or your injury has taken you out of whatever income you're supposed to be getting, you still need the money to pay your bills and to pay for food.
Mm-hmm.
That the money that you're getting from Aflac can be assigned however you want to assign it. So it's really just money that we give you as sort of a cushion when you have some sort of injury.
You are, as people can see, you're very young. You're still in college, as a matter of fact. And you are doing some studying for psychology, the psychology field. But that doesn't mean that you want to completely leave Aflac because you're really enjoying your journey.
Yeah. So pretty much Aflac came to me when I was sort of freaking out about post-grad and, everything within psychology. You need a minimum of a master's. I personally don't want to just get a master's. I would want to do a PsyD, which is the psychology equivalent of a PhD. There are psychology PhDs, but it's a more clinical approach to psychology, which is what I like. And I was sort of freaking out, minimum of 4 years. And I just really, that route, it feels very difficult for me to devote that much time of my life without sort of making any money or really just getting to the end of that and not being in a good position with, just sort of the way my life has gone. And it made a lot of sense for me to go out and look for a job. And Aflac was a really good potential part-time gig. And since starting there, I've really bought into the mission and bought into all the way that Aflac goes about protecting people. I've really bought into that. It's Aflac is a truly great company. It's 95% claim satisfaction rate. That's unlike any other insurance company out there. When you look at they make a lot of promises, but then they don't pay out their claims. Aflac does, and it's my job to make sure that happens. So that sort of shifted my perspective on what the future is going to look like, because psychology is still what I love and what I want to do, but I also feel like I'm really helping people when I'm offering Aflac to people. And also, the other part of my job is I'm a claim servicer. So whenever somebody comes to Aflac with a claim and says, "Oh, I'm having trouble cashing it out," it's my job to help them cash it out. So it feels really good to make sure that people actually get the money that I told them that they would get. And so, psychology is still the end goal. It's still where I want to end up in 20 years. But for the next 10 to 15, I think Aflac is really what I'm settling into.
I get excited when I hear that somebody's excited about insurance because, they do actually do what they say they're doing. as we have talked about, I had a horrible experience with insurance companies after my accident, and I still fight with them every time something goes wrong. So, hearing that there's any insurance company out there, insurance type company out there that is that's actually making a difference and helping people is, to me, a godsend, because I know how difficult they can be. Why psychology?
That's a great question. I think it's just the way that I interact with people. It's what I've been fascinated in since way back in high school. It's when I talk to people, I just find sort of what makes people say what they say extremely interesting, and what makes you and me, and what differentiates us. I just find that so interesting. Like, why is everybody not the same type of person? Is it, I don't know. I'm really fascinated with sort of what makes people themselves.
I wonder a lot. I wonder a lot of those questions. I've always had the question on, why do people want you to be like them? Because I'm one of those guys, Alex, that I would have to say that, you know what, I don't want you to be like me. If you and I were, if we were the same person, I don't think I'd like you very much. I'm one of those guys that I love the difference in each person. I like the way that even if we see things the same way, we see it from a different way. I like the way that you have different aspects of everything. And so psychology, one of the reasons I ask you these questions is because psychology interests me like a lot. I guess is the best way to put it. Psychology is one of the things that has really, as I've grown up, we're going to say that and just be nice. As I've grown up, psychology has become very intriguing to me because of the way that people act. So, what are some of the things that you would like to do with the psychology when you get into it? And are you going to be focusing on a specific type of person? Are you going to be focusing on youth, or is it going to be open?
That's a great question. I would want to open my own clinical practice, and normally when you're opening a clinical practice within the field of psychology, there's a lot that has to go into it before you're able to open it. You have to build up your reputation. You have to build up your clinical experience. You have to put in multiple years with other well-established clinical psychologists, and that is sort of what I'm using AFLAC to hurdle, right? A combination of AFLAC and getting the PsyD as opposed to a master's would allow me to set up my own practice and not have the risk that is normally associated with a clinical practice, right? Because the whole thing with opening your own practice is risk. And if I have 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, however many it is at AFLAC, I'll have a residual stream coming in, and I can instead of focusing on I need to make X amount of money from, this many clients, and I need to reach this many people, I can just focus on outreach and reaching out to people who need me. And there is no specific target audience. It's whoever feels the need to walk in my door, I want to be able to help. And, if nobody walks in my door, that's the whole point of having AFLAC as that fallback. If a ton of people say, Alex, you're really good at what you do, and I want to talk to you, I would be ecstatic, and I will help as many of them as I can.
Dream scenario, people would never have to walk in your door. Unfortunately, that's a dream scenario. And, exactly. No matter how good things get, there are going to be people who are struggling with different things, and having somebody out there to talk to, I think, is going to be wonderful. Let's go on ahead and let's get back to AFLAC. You focus on group insurance or solo?
So I personally focus on group. That's groups of 3 or more. That's nonprofits, that's associations, that's companies, businesses, however you want to look at it. If there are 3 or more people together, what we're able to do is offer our plans at pre-tax group rates. So if an individual comes to me saying, this is the individual plan that I really want, I'm never going to turn them down, but it makes a lot more financial sense for me to offer it through a group.
And could that be like a that group, could it be like a family that's getting together, or does it usually have to have an EIN?
It has to have an EIN. And
Okay.
and I have done a family that got a family EIN and under the name of a business. That works, but there needs to be some official connection between the people.
That's an intriguing thought, just putting my family under an EIN. I would only do that so I could fire them. No, I wouldn't.
No, but I mean, you do it for the tax purposes, and you can pay them, and we don't have to go there now. But there's other reasons to do
it. Yeah, my kids are watching this. They're going to go, Dad, you wouldn't have a chance. We'd fire you first. So, yeah. And what generally, what is like the out of pocket for? Is it expensive for smaller groups, or?
So the groups are not the ones paying; it's the individual. And what we do, what the enrollment process looks like, is we present what the plans are to these groups, and then we work with the individuals to sort of figure out what makes the most financial sense for them. Our plans start at $4 a week. That starts with our cheapest plan, which is the accident plan, and then it goes up from there. I think our most expensive will get up to $16 a week, and those are all on the individual sides. What you can do with a lot of these plans is you can cover your entire family. That will change the price. It's really a case-by-case basis. So there's not one number that I can give you. It's, we sit down with the people that are interested in enrolling, and we figure out which plans and, which associated costs with those plans make the most sense for them.
$4 a week. That's wow.
And that $4 a week plan can pay out tens of thousands of dollars for more severe injuries.
And I know that I at least I don't think you were with them when COVID started, but were people utilizing this during COVID? Ones who actually got sick with COVID, was there anything that they were able to utilize during that time?
Yeah, I mean, anybody on a hospital indemnity plan or an accident plan was able to, or a short-term disability plan, any of those 3 plans would be able to take advantage of those when they went into the hospital to get treated, or even if they, like the short-term disability plan kicks in when you're unable to work due to injury or illness. That's exactly what the case would be with during COVID. So they would be receiving, up to 60% of their income just because they're on the policy.
60% of your income on top of disability, or short-term disability. I'm going to tell you something that would be a lifesaver. I know I wish I would have had it after the motorcycle accident, because there was quite a shock when you went from, in which I worked 70 hours a week. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like that I was just missing a little bit of money. It was like I was missing an entire paycheck every week, and having that extra to cover me. This is just one of those things that we were talking about, Alex, that COVID did teach us as a people that things can happen to us. Okay. We thought that the plague was invincible. We were invincible from the plague. I'm sorry. But we were thinking that, there's no way the plague can come back. And oh my God, it come back and it got us good. And it shut us down. So having that backup is a very, very good thing to have. You can work, you are in New York, but you can work anywhere, right?
Yes. So I'm licensed in, I believe, 14 states as of now. And that's only because I've done business in those 14 states. But I can be licensed anywhere in the U.S. within a day.
Wow. What kind of things do you have to go through to get your license?
You apply to initially get the license. You have to take like a 15-hour course and then an exam. Once you've done that, I took the New York State insurance license exam or accident and health exam. And then from there, to extend your license to a new state, you just pay a fee.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I know that from everything I've ever talked to anybody, getting licensed in New York is the hard one to do anyway, with any licensing.
That really wasn't my experience with insurance. I know that there's a lot of different regulations that New York has. So I did get pretty lucky that New York was the state that is my resident state, because extending a non-resident license to New York is extra complicated, and there's a bunch of steps. And you're right, with most licenses, New York is the worst state to be in. But I think I kind of lucked out with insurance because it was really easy to get the initial license, and I just have to go outwards and get non-resident licenses in all these different states to operate in them.
It's kind of one of those half and half, weigh the good and bad in it. I think what New York does is great for the people within its residency, because guess what? It makes it easier for a New Yorker to do their job there in the state. And it kind of gets people to, want to maybe come and move into New York. But yeah, it does kind of suck for somebody who's outside and just wants to offer the coverage to people. But, like you said, for you, you're golden. You're already there. So where are you in your schooling? Are you a junior or?
I have one more semester left.
One more semester left.
So yeah, yesterday was actually all like my class's graduation. I took a semester off to be with my dad and spend a little time in Vermont with him, and then ended up doing a lot more than just that. But and by a lot more, I just mean I ended up doing a little bit of traveling and then spent a lot of time with him towards the end. But yeah, so I took one semester off, and I'm just graduating at the end of the fall of next semester.
Well, you know what? Good. That way the focus is all on you. So that's what I'll say. So where do you want to be with AFLAC in 10 years? Do you still want to be a representative? You want to be up the chain a little bit? Where do you want to be?
That's a great question. And honestly, I don't have a solid answer for you, because, if I'm in the same position I'm in now, I'd want to have a larger book of business and just kind of continuing what I'm doing now, just on a much larger scale. If I would want to climb up the ladder, sort of what you do is you build a team and you just instruct other agents and you help other agents on their path. And you don't go into that until you have your own book of business. So regardless, I'm going to do what I'm doing right now for at least 5 or so years. And then it's just a decision of whether or not it makes more sense for me to just keep growing my book of business, or for me to go up that ladder and sort of start helping other people or other agents. Yeah.
Are you telling your classmates about your experience here? Are you trying to recruit them?
I mean, yes and no, because it is, if I bring you in, I get a 5% cut, and being an agent at AFLAC is not an easy thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. There is not a huge retention rate for the employees that come in. So and everything's commission. So it's a little difficult for me to go to a friend of mine and say, start at this commission only job where you're going to have to put in a month of cold calls, cold drops, learning the process, and, spend a little bit of money on a license. And you really have to have faith in what AFLAC stands for and what AFLAC is able to offer, because it is a risk. And, I felt like I was at a time in my life where that risk made sense and was worth the potential, benefits. And I'm reaping the rewards of taking that risk, but it's not for everyone. It's, if you really feel like you're good at talking to people, you feel like this is something that you believe in, then, definitely I would recommend looking into it, but it has to be something that you really feel passionate about.
Well, let me ask you this. You just mentioned the cold calls and stuff like that. What was there a technique that you learned or a technique that you used to have some success in cold calls?
It was very much so you're handed a script and you're told follow the script. The script didn't work too great for me. I do not like, reading off of a script. I like having a conversation with another person.
Yes.
There's another thing where, when you're calling from an insurance company, you don't say the word insurance. That's the big no. One of the things is, oh, is this insurance? No, we're not major medical insurance. And then I'm not gonna give away like the whole thing, but it's you deny the fact that you're an insurance company. I hated that. When people asked me what we did, I said we do supplemental insurance through your company at no cost to you, and we offer these directly to your employees. And that's what I did. And just when you're a lot more direct with people, they either like it or they don't. And you get hung up on 90% of the time, but that 10%, that's gonna be somebody that agrees with what you're talking about and likes what you're talking about and wants to work with you.
It is tough that word, hearing that word because of the mistrust.
That mistrust has been earned. There's a lot of insurance companies like the ones that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
That have underwriters that are specifically designed to make it so that these plans don't pay out according to what they promise, because it's just going to make them more money if they don't pay out their plans. And even if they just drag these payouts 2 or 3 years, that's still making them more money because they have the opportunity to use the money that they're not paying you to either reinvest or to pay out the claims that they were supposed to have paid out years before that. So they can just kind of stagger the payments and grow in the interim. So, these companies have sort of built this terrible reputation for insurance. And like, it's really terrible to like, that's the one part of this that I don't like, is operating in the same space as a lot of those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really sort of how can you differentiate what we do here at Aflac from those other companies, and how can we we have the highest claim satisfaction rate out of any insurance company. And if you look up what is the most ethical insurance company, I think Ethosphere is like the premier rating service. It's been around for 18 years. Aflac has won every award that they come out with for 18 years. It's I can say that Aflac is a very ethical insurance company. It's going to take more than me saying it for people to believe it.
It is. And I'm just going to say this, you're very convincing. You truly are. Look, Alex, the one thing about you, the one thing that I love about you and I appreciate about you is you are so easy to talk to. There isn't a lot of, pomp and circumstance with you. You are just a good young man. You're easy to talk to. You're very attentive. You truly care about someone. And I think that's, and we say this when we talk about our partners, is that we've got a group of people within our family here at Community Pay It Forward who actually give a damn about other humans. And that's one of the reasons why I really love you and what you're about. And I'm excited that in 20 years, we're going to be helping you build your practice. And that excites me as well, because, it'll probably be one of my sons. I'll be in a rocking chair or in a body cast somewhere. But I'm excited for the future when it comes to young people like yourself, and especially you, because of your energy, your compassion, and just who you are. And so I really want to say welcome to the family. And I truly do mean that, because I am excited for you and I'm excited for your journey.
And I will say, for all those reasons that you outlined, those things that you look for in people to join Community Pay It Forward, that's the same reasons that I'm super excited to be joining. And I really appreciate that I appreciate the kind words, and I'm really excited to be joining the family and to be working with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You and I, we're going to take in, we're going to do another step. You and I are going to be on the 4th Wednesday of every month. You and I are going to be sitting down with some of the younger professionals of the United States. And we're going to be talking to some of these youngsters. these kids that are on my lawn, these young professionals that are starting a career, starting a new life, and we're going to talk to them about some of the struggles and some of the achievements that they've accomplished. And I am extremely excited about that. What are you looking forward to learning on that?
Meeting people, connecting with other, because doing what I do, I don't, every table I sit down at, every Zoom call that I join is I'm the youngest by far.
Mm-hmm.
I've never sat down at a table and looked over and seen another recent college graduate. It's well established professionals. It's business owners that have owned their business for 10, 15, some even 48 years. Sorry, I'm thinking of one specific company when I say 48 years. But it's well established people in their industries, and I'm not, and it feels a little out of place that I haven't met anybody in my situation. So it's going to be really nice to meet with other people that are doing not necessarily similar things, but are in similar positions to me, and being able to connect with them and figure out what drives them and what makes them do what they do.
Well, that is, what I'm excited about it, because we get to get the perspective from another generation, as some of us who have, a little more behind them, a few more years behind us. There's a lot of times that we forget that, the way that we did things, we struggled too. It's great that we get to learn more about the way that, with all the things coming up, AI and the technology and everything else coming up, it's going to be wonderful to work with you and see how kids are innovating and leading the way when it comes to doing business in this new world. Maybe it'll even help some of us old folk out. So that's my whole purpose of this. But I am looking forward to that. And that show starts right here next week. And we're really, really looking forward to that. Hey, Alex, how do people get a hold of you?
Text me, email me. Those are kind of the two best. I think my email and my phone number have been circulating. I think my phone number is up on the screen right now. If it's urgent, you give me a call. I answer my phone at least 75% of the time. If it's you're interested in working with me, you shoot me an email. That was a great time for the email to switch. But I'm very receptive to my email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes.
I thought it was on like an auto loop. That's my bad.
I play it off really well sometimes. So,
yeah.
And the other times I'm on this muscle relaxer that makes my finger twitch. And honestly, it does it on its own every once in a while. So, life,
Yeah.
It's what it is. You can also find Alex on LinkedIn. Just go to Alexander Bihar and you can find him. Alex, is there anything else that you want to talk about before we leave?
I think one small detail that I wanted to get out, just about the way that these plans pay out. It takes 2.5 days for the plans to pay out. One of the quickest, rates of payout. Mm-hmm. And then one other thing is, we were talking about short-term disability at 60% of your income. Most of what we do is supplemental. So what that means is it goes on top of everything else that you're getting. So if you're on workers' comp, this doesn't interfere with workers' comp. It doesn't interfere with anything tax related. These are all pre-tax payouts. So you don't have to worry about the IRS taking a chunk of this money. It's, you don't talk to other insurance companies. You don't talk to anybody. This money goes in your bank account and you can spend it. So I always like to say that, because you don't have to worry about, getting money from two sources. Oh no, I have to file this or tell this person or give some of it away. No, it's whatever you're getting outside of Aflac. We're happy that you're getting money, and then we're going to give you our money in addition, and you can spend it on whatever you feel they need to spend it on.
Look, I'm just going to say this right now, as a person who had to get used to life after making a decent living, and then all of a sudden that money was gone, and you were getting, you were getting 60% of, 40 hours a week. And as I aforementioned, I was working 70 hours a week. There was 30 hours in overtime there. And so only getting the 60% of that, having that extra money is going to be something that you really, really, really should think about and consider, because it's a shock to your system. And we all know that when things switch, when things go bad, they go bad all over. So protect yourself. It's one of the, make sure that you're making the right decisions while you're healthy, while you're good to go, because unfortunately in life, things happen, and that switch could really, really make a bad situation even worse. So give Alex a call. You can call him at 914-610-0055. That's 914-610-0055. Or you can email him at alexander_bihar@us.aflac.com. alexander_bihar@us.aflac.com. Or, of course, you can always find him on Community Pay It Forward. He is a family member. He's a giving partner. So every time that you purchase from him, you're going to be supporting someone else. Maybe it's someone who is in a situation that we're trying to avoid. So, Alex, thank you, and welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. And we'll see you next week.
Awesome.
I am really excited about the prospect of working with Alex next week and starting this young entrepreneur show and talking to kids. As I mentioned in that video, I think the working with younger individuals, listening to what they're doing and how they're making things happen, I think that can only help us, the older generation, improve what we do. Make sure that we're staying in touch with who they are and getting ideas off of them. I love talking to the younger people, but I'm kind of getting to that age where there are a lot more younger people than there were before. So, hey, we ran a little bit long tonight, and I appreciate everybody for sticking with us. Please, if you ever have any questions whatsoever, reach out to us. You can reach us at communitypayitforward.us. Once again, that is communitypayitforward.us. You can email me at zach@communitypayitforward.us. That is Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. Please make sure you take care of someone out there, because, folks, that's all we got. Look, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. The one last thing I'd love to say is, make sure you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Here's a really, really quick video about our program, Community Pay It Forward, and how it works. Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all.
Show me the way. You wanna hold the heart. Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.